Today, I am making a choice. I am choosing to say no. I am saying no to a system that has brought me so much pain. For years I tried to fit myself into a box. I tried to believe in the one true love story we are all told. You know the one. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, and they promise to be only for each other, forever. But that story was never my reality. For me, that story was a source of constant heartbreak. I am officially breaking up with monogamy, and I am not looking back. It is a decision I have made for my own peace and for my own heart. The idea of one person for one person sounds beautiful. It sounds like a fairy tale. But my life has shown me that sometimes, fairy tales are just stories. They are not always true. I gave my heart completely, again and again. I trusted with everything I had. I believed in the promises that were made to me. But those promises were broken. The trust was shattered. It felt like I was living the same sad story on a loop. Each time I thought, this time will be different. But it never was. The pain was always waiting for me right around the corner. Why do we force ourselves into something that doesn't work for everyone? We are all different. We love differently. We have different needs and different capacities for love. I have realized that trying to force my heart into the shape of monogamy was like trying to wear shoes that are 2 sizes too small. It hurts with every step. It leaves you with blisters and scars. I am tired of hurting. I am tired of pretending that this shoe fits me when it clearly doesn't. It is time to walk barefoot, to be free, and to find a path that feels natural to me. So, this is my declaration. This is my moment of honesty. Monogamy, for me, has been a painful and immature way to love. It created expectations that were never met. It fostered an environment of secrecy and lies instead of openness. It demanded a kind of ownership over another person that I now find unhealthy. I am stepping away from the jealousy, the suspicion, and the inevitable disappointment. I am choosing a new way, a way that I hope will be kinder, more honest, and ultimately more loving. I am choosing to be free from the pain of the past. I remember the nights spent waiting for a text that never came. I remember finding messages that were not meant for my eyes. The feeling of betrayal is a cold, sharp thing. It settles deep in your stomach and makes it hard to breathe. One partner told me I was his everything, his one and only. Then I found out I was one of 3. Another promised me a future, a home, a family. But his future already included someone else, a secret he kept locked away. These were not just mistakes. They were deep betrayals that made me question my own worth. Was I not enough? What was so wrong with me? The constant stress of these relationships took a heavy toll on my body. My anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was always on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It felt like my body was keeping score of every lie and every tear. This emotional turmoil manifested in physical ways. My immune system was weak. I was always sick. The emotional pain was becoming physical pain, a constant reminder of the chaos in my heart. My body was screaming at me to pay attention, to stop putting myself through this cycle of hurt. Then came the diagnosis. Cancer. It was a wake-up call like no other. Lying in a hospital bed, facing my own mortality, I had a lot of time to think. I thought about the stress, the heartbreak, and the emotional poison I had allowed into my life for so long. I can't say for certain that the stress from my relationships caused my illness, but I know in my soul that the constant state of emotional distress did not help. It weakened me. It made me vulnerable. That was the moment I knew something had to change fundamentally. I had to choose to live, and that meant choosing to live differently. The cycle was exhausting. I would fall in love, believe in the promise of monogamy, and then watch it all fall apart. The heartbreak was a familiar ache. I would pick myself up, piece my heart back together, and foolishly try again, hoping for a different outcome. But it was like running into the same wall over and over again and expecting not to get hurt. The definition of insanity, right? I was tired of the tears. I was tired of feeling used and discarded. I was tired of mourning relationships that were built on a foundation of lies. The emotional labor was just too much. I started to question everything. Why is monogamy the only acceptable option? Why is it considered the peak of romantic achievement? For me, it had been a source of immense pain. It felt like a setup for failure based on a possessive idea of love. I believe a more mature way to love is to be honest about our desires and our nature. If we can admit that one person might not be able to fulfill every single need we have, maybe we can stop lying about it. Maybe we can build relationships on a foundation of truth instead of secrets. This is why I am now exploring polygamy or polyamory. It is not about being greedy or uncommitted. It is about being radically honest. It is about creating a structure where love can be shared openly and with the full consent of everyone involved. Imagine a relationship where you don't have to worry about cheating because all connections are out in the open. Imagine a love that is expansive, not restrictive. For me, this is not a downgrade from monogamy. It is an upgrade to a more conscious, communicative, and respectful way of connecting with others. Of course, this path requires an incredible amount of communication, trust, and emotional intelligence. It is not an easy way out. It is a very deliberate and conscious choice. Everyone must be on the same page. Rules are discussed, boundaries are respected, feelings are constantly checked in on. It is a commitment to transparency. This is the opposite of the cheating that defined my monogamous past. Cheating is a violation of trust based on a secret. Ethical non-monogamy is the strengthening of trust based on shared agreements and honesty. It is the kinder, healthier way for me. The idea brings me a sense of hope I haven't felt in years. It allows me to reclaim my own story and define love on my own terms. I no longer have to live in fear of betrayal because the framework itself is designed to prevent it through open dialogue. I can love freely and honestly without the pressure of being someone's one and only. I can be a part of a supportive, loving network where everyone's needs are considered. This is a path of self-respect. It is me finally saying that my peace of mind is more important than fitting into a social norm that has only ever caused me pain. To truly move forward, I had to let go of the past. I gathered every old love letter, every photo, every sentimental object from my past relationships. I took them all outside one evening. As the sun went down, I built a small fire. One by one, I dropped the letters into the flames. I watched the words of broken promises turn to ash and float away into the night sky. It was a ceremony. It was my way of saying a final goodbye to the men who hurt me, and more importantly, to the version of me who allowed it to happen for so long. It was an emotional moment. There were tears, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of release. I was letting go of the weight I had been carrying for years. I was cleansing myself of the pain, the betrayal, and the feelings of inadequacy. As the last picture curled and vanished in the fire, I felt lighter. I felt a profound sense of closure. I was no longer a victim of my past. I was the architect of my future. I was taking my power back once and for all. This act was for me, a symbolic burning of the bridge back to a world of pain. This journey is about more than just my personal preference. It is a call for greater acceptance. Love is not one size fits all. What works for one person may be a source of misery for another. We need to create a society where different forms of loving, committed relationships are respected. As long as everything is consensual, honest, and happening between adults, who has the right to judge? Who has the right to say that one form of love is more valid than another? We need to open our hearts and minds to the possibility that there are many right ways to love. So, here is my final thought, my personal, bold, and maybe even playful message to the world. I believe that love, in all its consensual forms, should be celebrated and protected. If we can have no-fault divorce, why can't we have multi-partner marriage? It is time to evolve our laws to reflect the diverse ways people find happiness and build families. Let us legalize and regulate polygamy. Let's make honesty the law of the land when it comes to love. My slogan for this new chapter: 1 is the loneliest number, and 2 is for quitters. Let's try 3.